So the number one thing that correlates with male suicide is not depression. And this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. I believe the statistic in my clinical practice because I know what depression looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half the men that I've worked with, at least, are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most of the suicidal men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living. They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of the situation. So they turn to suicide. So I know it's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up. So if we sort of look at what's going on with men, they have nowhere to turn to, and the number one thing that correlates with it is not mental illness, but is a sense of thwarted belongingness. But basically what happens is what causes people to kill themselves is they try to connect with others and they get rejected.
I watched this video last night. It's not my first time seeing this video, but what I wanted to highlight in this video is the comment section is absolutely heartbreaking, bro. This guy comments, the first person to ever tell me I love you without me saying it first was my daughter at the age of 7. I was in tears the whole night. It's fucking sad, dude, because these guys that self-eliminate are not mentally ill, okay? They are not mentally ill. 50% of them at least, according to Dr. K. And the number one reason being a sense of thwarted belongingness. So they feel like their life is meaningless. They don't feel like they belong. And they try to connect with people and they get rejected. It's fucking rough being a man in society. And why this topic is so near and dear to my heart, bro, is because I feel like I have survivor's guilt. Like I was in that place, that dark place. It felt like someone had pushed me down a wishing well. And my sense of hope, looking up, wanting to escape from that deep pit, was diminishing faster and faster, and my life felt meaningless. And that's why all these videos on my channel are in some shape or form related to men's mental health, because it's not just an issue of like, okay, this dude has a mental illness. It's an issue of this dude doesn't feel a sense of belonging, and everything's digital nowadays. And I truly feel in my heart that if the least I can do is make you feel like you're seen by watching one of my videos, then I've accomplished my mission. I wish I could give every single one of you a hug and tell you that you do matter, you are important. The least I can do is kind of share with you guys how I got out of this pit myself, rather how I was helped out of this pit. Because when I was 21 years old, I had everything on paper. And when I've done research into this, the majority of men who self-eliminate are blue-collar workers. So these aren't dudes that are, living in their mom's basement, smoking weed, playing video games all day. These are typically dudes that have a family. They're grown men. They work long hours, and life just loses meaning. In other words, all sense of joy no longer exists in their life. And I can imagine they feel like just a walking piggy bank, right? Made to feel like, hey, you're only valuable if you work. And they fucking hate their job. They kind of live in this haze. Maybe they come home from work after a long day. They just want to unwind, unplug. They don't want to think about anything. Maybe they have a few beers. And eventually it just puts them in a position where they no longer see a reason to keep on living. Now, obviously, I'm not a mental health expert, dude. I'm just a guy that was heavily addicted to drugs. And the only thing I can relate to is that pit of despair, that place where you just feel like, okay, this is no longer worth continuing. Like this journey of life, it's pointless. Now, for me, I was never going to do anything to eliminate myself, but what I conceded to myself is that I would try to squeeze every last bit of joy out of life through the drink or the drug. And I kind of knew I was headed towards a trajectory of potentially overdosing or dying from drugs. So I was, to put it bluntly, killing myself slowly. And the reason this topic means so much to me, dude, it's like I mentioned before, it's like I feel like I have survivor's guilt, right? This is a huge fucking problem, bro. Huge problem. Look at this comment. Yeah, this is real. The feeling of reaching out and having no connections is real. That and the feeling that life isn't worth living. It's getting harder to see an emotionally and financially stable world right now. I relate. I want to highlight this part. This is where I want to give you guys some sense of hope if you can relate to any of these comments, or if you relate to any of my videos or any of my story you've heard of me being a recovered drug addict. Is that although, yes, the world is pretty fucked, it's very hard for young men especially. The economy, cost of living, everything. I don't even need to get into that. You guys know it's kind of fucking tough for young men right now. But you can find a sense of, I love that this dude here said it's difficult to find emotional and financial stability. If you can't find financial stability, you can at least find emotional stability within yourself. Now, what the fuck does that actually look like? If you're new here, I'll try to sum it up briefly for you. These feelings that contribute to you actually wanting to continue living life and feeling like a life is worth living. I summarize it like this. It's really just feelings of peace, serenity, and joy. Specifically joy. Joy is an emotion. Here's the fucking kicker, bro, is you can actually feel joy and connectedness without changing anything in your external circumstances. Now, I know that sounds fucking crazy and sounds like some woo-woo monk shit, but this is what gets me fired up, dude, is I think a lot of people throw away religion to the side, and I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person, okay? Where I personally find my own sense of joy, peace, and serenity, these emotions that make life feel like it's worth living, I find that in a connection to a higher power. Now, I've never read out of the Bible. I don't even believe I've gone to any sermon or church on Sunday. I'm not a religious dude. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Catholic, okay? But I do have a connection to a higher power. And every single one of you watching this can start to develop this connection to a higher power. Because what I believe is this all-loving force. Now, I know most of you might be turned off by the word God, because I know I was. So let's not even use the word. Might be thinking of some dude in the fucking sky with the beard. It's not what I'm talking about, dude. I'm talking about this divine intelligence, this natural order of the universe, this deep knowing that we're all connected, this all-loving force. You can find emotional stability in connecting to this force, bro. For me, what it looks like is meditating in the morning. I just breathe deeply and I feel loved, dude. I'm sitting alone in a park bench. There's no one around me. I feel loved. And once I feel that love of God, some may call it, the rest of my day feels like icing on the cake, because I start my day knowing that no matter what I do, see, hear, or go, that I'm loved. This is my personal perception on spirituality. I don't look at things through the lens of, if I sin, I'm going to be damned to hell. I feel loved and cared for no matter what, by a force that is way beyond me, bro. And my mission is really to help you guys start to see that you can develop a relationship with this thing, whatever you want to call it, without needing to go to church or listening to anything religious. This can be a very personal thing. This is what changed it for me, bro. Because I tried to get sober on my own, and I would get 2 months together, completely substance free, but I would feel worse than when I was using. So I just said, fuck it. Might as well keep getting high. And it wasn't just the drink or the drug, dude. I tried using money to find joy. I tried sleeping around with girls on Tinder to find joy. All these things were fleeting dopamine hits that left me feeling more and more empty than ever before. But what I did find is this connection to this higher power or divine intelligence or whatever the fuck you want to call it, bro, that I believe is in every single man, woman, and child. And by me connecting to this higher power, I therefore feel connected to others, because it's a shared commonality. Now, if you're an atheist punching air right now because you're like, fuck this, dude, I don't want to hear this, I would just ask you this question, dude, and no judgment, like, you can be an atheist, like, still love you, is if you're watching a dude like me on the internet, some random fucking guy talk about how his connection to some sort of spirituality, higher power has changed his life, I might ask you, like, why not at least try believing in something, dude? If you believe me and believe the words that I'm saying are true, that this changed my life completely, I would ask you, why not at least try, bro? Because what you're doing right now is clearly not working. If you resonate with anything that Dr. K said, any of these comments, any of my story, if you feel lost, if you feel like life has lost meaning, why not try believing in something that's bigger than yourself and asking it for help, bro? Like, why not? Just try it. You can try praying, whatever that looks like to you. Try communicating with it. Get curious. Do some research on the internet. Listen to some other people's experiences. One of my favorite things is to watch near-death experiences on YouTube and just see what people experience. Because this shit changed my life, dude. It wasn't me, bro. It was something bigger than me that helped me through this. And this is why, like, I wish I could just snap my fingers and just help every single man that feels lost right now and feels like life is meaningless, and just give him that instant connection to a higher power. But it really is something that's so personal to everyone, and you have to do it yourself, bro. But it's I can promise you this, dude. I can promise you this. It's there waiting for you. There's no right or wrong way to connect to it, but maybe just try softening and opening up your heart a little bit and just get curious. You don't have to think about anything in the religious context, because I'm not a religious dude. dude. I'm a spiritual dude. There's a huge difference. I want you guys to feel the same shit that I feel when I connect to this thing, man, because it's changed my fucking life, bro. Cannot stress that enough. Like, I was so miserable, beaten down, and broken, man. I tried making money, hooking up with girls, mixing drugs. Like, I felt like these dudes do in the comments, but I no longer do, bro. So of course I'm gonna get on the internet and be like fucking shouting from the rooftops like, yo, homies, like, please, like, I hope this plants a seed for someone watching this. Even if one person watching this was just like, oh fuck, like, I'm willing to give it a try. Like, please do, bro, because it seriously changed my life. And that's all I want to talk about today, because I was struggling to fall asleep last night after reading some of these comments, bro. And I don't want to depress you guys, so I'm not going to keep reading through them, but that was the topic of discussion today. And just want to say, if you're out there and you don't feel like life is worth living, like, you are loved, brother. I love you. I'm a random dude on the internet, and whatever this higher power is, it loves you. Just be open, be willing to give it a try. Love you guys. Peace.